Hi, blessed authors. It is your girl Tahira here. I am live and I'm going to just get live on Instagram real quick and we will get started. All right. I am live on Instagram and on YouTube. I want to say happy Freedom Friday. That's what I'm calling it. It's your girl Tahira. I am a Christian author, teacher, and self-publishing consultant. Hi, T. Garner. Hi, thanks for joining. I see some people joining on. And so today is day 3 of my 30-day live challenge, and I am going to be going live all the way up until July 7th when my new book comes out. I am currently writing Freedom Today, 7 Keys to Activate More Joy, Walk in Purpose, and Have Inner Peace in Your Life. And so today, since it's Friday, I wanted to start introducing something called Freedom Fridays. And I want to ask a question. First, wherever you're joining me from, whatever city, I would love to know. I know one of the things about being live is you could be from anywhere, even across the world. So if you're joining me live or even on a replay, if you could just tell me what city are you joining me from? I am in Bay Area, California. Most people know the Bay Area as like San Francisco, where they have the Golden State Warriors. That's a popular team. The Giants are the 49ers if you're into sports. I actually don't live in the city, but I'm about 45 minutes from San Francisco. And so most people, you just say, I live in the Bay Area. So I love California. Pretty much, even though I was born in Miami, Florida, raised in California. So everybody knows me as kind of Cali. And so I would love to know where you're joining me from. And today I thought that we would start off with a question for Freedom Friday. And that is, what brings you joy? Yes. So if you didn't know, I am focused on having a more, I'm calling it a joyous June, right? Increasing my joy. Not only am I writing a book about some keys to it, but I am practicing what I am writing about. And so if you want to just answer that question, drop it in the comments. And also I will share. So one of the things that brings me joy is, for those who don't know, you already know that I'm a teacher, but I love to see people grow. Like, I truly believe being of service is something that God has called us to do. But for me, one of my strengths is that of a maximizer. So if you never heard of a maximizer, it's a kind of terminology in Strength Finders. You could take a test. And a maximizer is a person who has the ability to see within you something that maybe you don't see within yourself and bring it out of you. And so I've always had that potential, which is probably why God has used me to teach, because whether I'm working with kids, I'm working with older adults, I usually can find, and it's something that God has given me, a gift, find something in them and really find out where they can maximize that, where they can grow. And I just love seeing that. I love to see a person start from here. Let's give an example. You have a desire to write a book and then get your book in hand, right? So I've contributed to their growth, to their life, and that is the ability of a maximizer. So that gives me a lot of joy to serve, to teach, to show people maybe the potential in them that they didn't know they had. And so, yes, drop it in the comment. What's something that gives you joy? And that's how we're going to start our Freedom Fridays, okay? And so today I thought we would start by learning a little bit about me, the author. Since we're going to be on this journey for 30 days, I just thought, you know what? There's a lot that, especially if you're new to me, you may not know about my journey, how I got to be an author with, 20 plus books. And one of my books, this one particular, my signature book, 6-Step Blueprint, makes me consistent royalties month after month. And since it launched in October of 2021, and so thankful for that. But before I teach you also how to do that, because all this month, if you didn't catch the live yesterday, I talked about how I'm going to be teaching you writing tips, self-publishing, how to market your book, and going beyond the book. We're going to cover all of that. However, I just thought, you know what, let's get to know the authors. So that's what today's live is going to be about. And before we move on, hi Strut in her shoes. Thanks for joining. I just thought I'd give you a little bit of background, a little bit of context. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Hi, I see you joining. Thank you for joining live. And so today I want to start by saying that many of you guys know me as a Christian author, but also I've actually been in education for now almost 22 years. So I'm very comfortable. I have the gift of communication. I talk for a living. Currently I'm teaching third grade, but actually my educational teaching career started when I was 19 and I was a sophomore in college. And my first position was as a TA. A TA is a teacher assistant. And I would go to class in, the mornings, and then in the afternoon, I would go work at an after school program for special needs children. At the time, actually, though, I was in the class that was adults. And when I say special needs, these are students who had autism, Down syndrome. That's what I meant when I say special needs. And so I was 19 at the time. And I realized then that I really had an ability to kind of reach and work with, I just was really good at it. Naturally, I just loved what I did. I love helping people. But at 19, I thought that I was going to go to law school. So that was my dream. I was even like pre-law, went to school for that. And hold on one second. Yes, sir. No, they can't see you. You want to say hello?
Hi.
This is my son, Josiah. All right. He interrupted my live. See, I put this on the background because he didn't like that he couldn't go to the kitchen when I changed my desk, but now he's shy. So anyway, so I got into teaching at 19 as a TA, but I thought that I was going to be a lawyer. At least that's what I attempted to do. And so I went to school, pre-law, took Supreme Court justice, took the LSAT, applied to law schools, graduated from college at 21. My first job out of college was a counselor in a classroom. And anybody who doesn't know, when you're applying for law school, it takes about a year. So my goal, right, my plan, we think we know our plan. God has another plan. My plan was, okay, I'm just going to work this job for a year and then I'll go to law school. But while I was working this job, the teacher that I worked for, he was like, you're really good with kids. I noticed that every time I'm gone, you take on this leadership role, and I want you to be the primary sub when I'm out. And so I remember going like from $14 an hour, my job paid for me to get like my sub credential, my CBAS, which in California is basically a credential saying that you know basic math, English, all that stuff. And I went to making, when he was out subbing and my job paid for everything, $22 an hour. And I remember thinking, woo, because at the time I was only like 22 and I was like, this is a lot of money, And I realized that teaching could be an actual career, especially if you wanted to go into the special needs. I had the patience and I had the ability to reach kids. And my job offered to pay for me to go to school, to get the credential and everything like that. And so I set out to do that with the idea, thinking that, I'm not going to be here long to go to law school. Well, God put a stop to my plans because your girl applied to every law school and I did not get in. I mean, like I was rejected, like from every law school I applied to. And what was sad about that was I actually did an internship and I didn't even get into that school. But now I know it's because God wanted me to go in this direction as a teacher. And so I'll fast forward, but basically been in teaching since the age of 22, took other careers, tried to go into the social services, work with foster care youth, did a little contract work, teaching reading and English. But overall, I've always stayed in education. Education was kind of like my backup plan. Even when I was out of work, I could always tutor, I could always teach. However, I had a desire since I was 19 to be an author. And this is where I really want to kind of encourage some people, because even though I had a desire to be an author at 19, I did not write or self-publish my first book until I was 33 years old. Now, you guys could do the math. But in 2015 is when I self-published my first book. And I always desired, like I had a strong desire from like 14. I used to say, oh, I'm going to write series of books. You know, I had the people that I would look at the series, the chicken noodle and soup series. And, you know, I was like, I want to do that one day, but I just didn't have the faith to believe that I could actually author, because back then, for anybody who knows about traditional publishing, you have to have, you know, the backing. Now we're lucky because we have self-publishing, we have Amazon. It makes it really easy. But back then, that's all you knew was traditional publishing. And so I did attempt to, like in my early 20s, I was about 24, tried to submit my work to a Christian self-publishing company, and they accepted it. And we got really close to where they were going to publish it. But like there was one chapter, there was something that I had said that they didn't agree with. And they were like, you got to take that out or we're not going to go forward and publish you. And at the time I was just really, you know, young on this, my creativity. I don't want nobody to tell me how to write my book. So I decided not to go forward with it, which I just realized now that self-publishing was already meant for me, because then like 2 years later, CreateSpace came out, which is now, I think Amazon brought them, but it was like, I think it was called CreateSpace. Anybody know this is back in like 2015, 2016, there was no Amazon KDP, but then they brought, you know, the CreateSpace publishing that, you know, you can go to self-publish, is where I began my journey, which really worked for me because I'm a very creative person. And I wanted the freedom to be able to, you know, write the way I wanted to write. Right. But I want to go back to the faith move, because I remember in 2015, even though I always had this desire to be an author, how much fear I had. Like for me, just getting my book out felt like the accomplishment. I had no idea about actually marketing my book. I had no idea about like how to build a business around my book or a brand. I had no idea about digital products, nothing, like total newbie. And so I understand, like for someone who's out there and they're like, I don't know the steps, I just have a desire. Like I know God has called me to be an author. I've been there. I understand where you are. I'm just kind of like, you know, 7+ years ahead of you, right? But I always give a lot of, you know, free resources. I always give a lot, whether it's on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram or on my blog. I love to write. I put a lot of free stuff out there because I know that there could be someone who is just like, how do I get started, right? Or need the confidence, need the inspiration, the motivation to keep going. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I serve in a way where I know not everybody is at a place where they're like ready to, you know, invest and go, hey, how do I build an actual business? How do I build a brand? Because for me, it took from, let's see, I published in 2015. I got my first writing coach in 2018 and started learning more about like the actual business of being an author. Like it's not enough to just write a book, but how do you actually make a living, right? And that was my desire, to become a career author, right? An author who has multiple books and actually producing income from those books, right? And I can gladly say now I am a career author. So I have this book, right? 6-Step Blueprint, that not only makes consistent royalties month after month, that is directly directed into my business account, but I also created products around it, a bundle, digital products that, and consulting around it. Also this month, well, it doesn't start till July 2nd, but I'm launching the Profit with Purpose, which is going to be a 12-week program teaching you to do exactly what I did. And that's for people who know, like, hey, I want to publish a book and I also want to go beyond the book, right? And that doesn't start till July 2nd. I'm kind of just putting it out there, but it's basically teaching you what I've come to realize is that if you want to make impact and income, the book, just having one book, you know, yes, it's great. It's a wonderful accomplishment, but really, I mean, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's dream, because you could be like somebody that sell 1 million copies and you could have that dream. But most self-published authors, real talk, one book is not going to be where, you know, you can retire or you can quit your day job. You know, it will have some maybe residual income coming in, some passive income, some royalties. But in order to really accelerate that profit, digital products, possibly consulting or coaching, workshops, thinking beyond the book. And we'll get into that on week 4. But those are the things that really, really started to make me realize, like, okay, this is a business. It's not enough to just say I'm an author. You have to think of yourself as a brand, as an entrepreneur, and as a business, right? And so it took me a while to wrap my mind around that, but through investments, through coaching that I got, I was able to grow into that space. And so that's all I wanted to really say, is that your girl, it took a process, it took a journey. Yes, I have been in education for over 20 years, but my heart has always been, and my passion and my purpose has always been to be an author. And now I have been just blessed through the years of investing in myself, learning about and trying different things. Now I know how to use Canva to create mock-ups. Now I know how to create a sales page. I know how to do all those things that really help this author career to turn into a business. And so why do I share all that? Because I think at some point, we all start off as newbies. We all start off somewhere. I started at 19 in education, but I wasn't always someone that had the confidence that I have now. Started in 2015 as an author. And I say that no matter where you're starting, right? If God is giving you a purpose to write a book, just get started and know that you're going to have people along the way. God will show you people along the way that will be here to, inspire you, to push you forward, to motivate you so that you can get it done. And so that's my prayer in sharing my story, just to give you guys a little bit more about the author. If you did not know me before, or if you're new to me, presently I am a Christian teacher. I teach 3rd grade. I'm on summer break now. And so I'm excited now that I'm on summer break, I can work on my other passions, which has always been blogging, writing. And I'm just looking forward to showing up over the next 30 days and, supporting you guys, other people who know that they want to write, self-publish and market a book. And I'm just grateful that I'm in a position now that I have the knowledge and the experience and I can put it all together. And I know that God will send the right people that need this information. And so, yeah, that's all that I have for you today. It's not going to be a long live. Glad that I still have a little bit of sunlight. But I always want to end with question and answer. So if you are on, hi, and I see some people on Instagram, please feel free to drop your questions. I am Steph. Hi, thanks for joining. Feel free to drop your questions in the comments and we will end with question and answer. So thank you so much for joining. I just thought for, this day 3 that I would do a little bit of learn more about the author. And I hope that my story, me sharing my journey, my process, really encourages you to just get started. And over the next 30 days, we're going to continue to, talk about writing the book, marketing the book, publishing the book. But I always want to know, like, who am I learning from, right? So now your girl a little bit more about me. So are there any more questions? Any more questions? All right. Well, it didn't go that long today. I will be back tomorrow, probably around the same time. 7 p.m. seems to work. I'll jump on and we'll be sharing some more writing tips. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Until next time, live well, love well, and be well. I think I want to end it on YouTube first. All right, you guys.